Today we're going to show you how to make a really healthy meal out of 3 recipes that are easy and fun to do. We're going to make a chicken cutlet that will never be dry, and 1 breast can feed an entire family. We're also going to do some broccoli that's been brightly sauteed in a wonderful sauce, and then we're going to make a light garlic sauce with lemon that's going to go over all of it. One of my family's favorite things is chicken. We don't want to have a dry chicken. We're going to start off with a chicken that will take you 6 minutes in the pan, and you've got delicious, absolutely moist chicken. We're going to start off with 1 chicken breast. Now, this is an organically grown chicken, and we've soaked this in buttermilk. You can do it about 3 or 4 hours. Overnight is best, and this was covered. We're going to take this out, and we're going to place it on some paper towels. Now, I have it on my cutting board, but underneath here I have plastic because I don't want this chicken to get into this wood that I'm using right now. So I'm going to dry this off a little bit. And I'm going to get that off of there. Now, the reason we soaked this is the reason we soak it in any meat is because the acid in the buttermilk is actually going to help break down this chicken, the fibers, the meat fibers in this chicken. Now, you can leave this skin on if you want to. I'm going to take the skin off, and I'm also going to take it off the bone. I buy it on the bone because, number 1, it tastes a little bit better, but number 2, you're going to get a little bit cheaper price. We need to watch how we're spinning, right? So I'm just going to come through here, and I'm going to take this. I'm going to take this skin off. Now, I'm not going to throw this skin away. I'm going to use it to make some chicken stock to make a gravy or a little light garlic sauce for this a little bit later. But right now, I just want to get this off and trim this up so that it doesn't get in. I want this to be nothing but just the chicken breast. Now we're going to take the chicken loin off as well so that we can do that one separate. Okay, so we're just going to place that over here. Now we're going to take it off this bone. Basically, the breast itself and then the tenderloin. You can see this big breast right here. And we're just going to start scoring it where we know those bones are. And we can see those bones. They're right here. This is the rib. And we're just going to come through here. And as we pull apart, we're just going to pull against the knife and use the sharp tip on a fairly sharp knife, just the tip, to come in here and get this completely off. So I'm going to finish deboning this, and then we're going to get back to our chicken cutlet. Okay, so we've gotten this bone off of here, and I'm going to save that for later to make that chicken stock. What we have left is this bit of tenderloin that we're going to save over here. But what our main goal is this lovely chicken breast. I mean, this is a really nice cut of meat. So we're going to pound this to where it's a little bit thinner. We don't want this thick part to take too long to cook and then this thin part cook too much. So we're going to remove this and we're going to place it inside of a baggie that I've slit open on either side. And then we're going to pound this, and we'll dredge it and we'll cook it, and it'll be done 3 minutes aside, promise. Okay, we have our chicken breast has now been cleaned up. We've removed the loin and all the bones. We're going to place it in here. Now, you can use a meat mallet. I wouldn't suggest using the ones that have the little sharp points on it because it'll just poke holes through this. Or you can just use a rolling pin. And we want to push our weight to that part that is really thick, that big breast muscle there. Not only does this make it more even, but it also tenderizes that meat. Now we're going to feel this is about the same. This side right here could come down just a little bit more. Good for the soul. Okay. Now we've got this to where it's all about 1/4 inch thick. Now this 1/4 inch thick, now this little part here, I'm going to take off, put that in for the stock. I'm going to take off any of these little pieces that are going to burn. So we're going to take our knife. These are going to cook too fast. So we're just going to trim this up a little bit, like that little piece hanging off of there. That'll just come off. Okay. Now we're going to dredge this in a little bit of light bit of flour, some onion powder, garlic powder, and a little bit of salt and pepper. We'll just put this right here. And we've got a little bit of AP flour, salt and pepper, onion powder, and some garlic powder, a little bit of orange peel, dehydrated orange peel, and we're going to add some dehydrated rosemary. Now we got our dehydrated orange peel from our friend Cindy Bighorse, who's on the Indian Preservation Channel, and she teaches you how to preserve things. And this dried rosemary is also from her. So we're going to send a shout out to Miss Bighorse. Thanks for making our course fine. We're going to mix these together. Now we're going to take our chicken cutlet. We're going to get rid of this. And we're going to press it into the flour mixture, making sure that we get a light coating. Notice there's no egg coating on this. We don't like that real heavy fried part. We just want something to give it a little bit of flavor and to give it just the tiniest bit of crust. We're going to make sure we get into all the little areas. We don't want to see any little chicken parts that don't have the love of this nice rub. Okay, I'm going to let that sit there for just a few minutes. I'm going to wash my hands, and then we're going to prep out our pan and get ready for cooking our chicken cutlet. All right, we've let him sit about 10 minutes in the flour mixture. Make sure that we're all absorbed. And again, this is AP flour, a little garlic powder, onion powder, a little bit of dehydrated orange peel, some salt and pepper, and a little bit of dehydrated rosemary. Now we're going to season a little bit more as it comes off of this and onto the plate. So we used really about a scant 1/8 of a tablespoon or teaspoon of salt. You can see in our pan it's starting to be shimmery. I'm going to take this and I'm going to place it carefully in the center of this. And we are on about 1200 watts right now, which is about a medium. We want to fry nice and easy. We're going to hear a slight sizzle. Again, the key to this is not to fry it at really high heats. You can hear it start to cook, and we're going to keep it on this side for about 3 minutes. Then we're going to flip it over to the other side for about 3 minutes. We're going to let it rest, and it's going to be ready. So we have done our chicken for 3 minutes per side, and you can see we've got lots of brown crispy bits in here. And when I push, now remember we didn't smash this, we want that juice to stay inside. It barely gives under the weight of this press. What that means is it'll finish cooking while it's resting. And we want this to rest for about 10 minutes before we're going to cut it so that those juices can get in there. So in the meantime, in this lovely pan that we've got all these brown, yummy, crispy chicken bits, we're going to add just a tiny touch more of some olive oil, and we're going to turn down our temperature because what we're going to add next is some fresh broccoli that will make a delicious, low-cal but outstanding dinner for your family. I'm going to show you a way to fix broccoli that your kids are absolutely going to love. What we've done is we've taken fresh broccoli and simply cut it down to the smaller edges. We've washed it, and now we're getting ready to put that in the oil and the chicken bits that we cooked that chicken in. So we want to dry this. We don't want it spashing all over the place. So just give it a quick little dry. And we're going to very carefully add these pieces. Now I've got this on low, and I'm going to place this in exactly where I cooked that chicken, full of flavor, and it's just a slight bit of cooking, and we're going to have some really yummy broccoli. I'm going to turn them over on their sides. If they're really big, you can cut them in half so you have a stem side. I'm going to give them lots of space so that they can cook off. We're going to give them just a tiny bit of salt and pepper as they're coming out. We're going to flip these in just a few minutes, and then we're going to add this broccoli to our chicken cutlet, adding to a very healthy meal that everyone will love. Okay, our broccoli is nice. Look at the beautiful color on that. It is lovely. I've got some brown edges on it. We want to keep this as sort of al dente as possible. Now, if you like yours cooked a little bit more, you certainly can. And we're going to take these off, and we're going to sprinkle these with a little bit of salt and pepper. Then we're going to finish off this pan. Now remember, we cooked the chicken cutlet in here already with onion and garlic powder, salt and pepper, some rosemary, some dried orange peel, and we cooked this in the same thing. Now we're going to add just a tiny bit of butter and finish this off for a nice light garlic sauce, not salt. So we're going to take these guys and we're going to plate them up over here. Okay, we're going to let that pan cool just a little bit, and then we're going to add a little bit of butter, and we'll make that garlic sauce in just a minute. But to this, while they're still hot, we're going to add just a tiny bit of sea salt, and this is very fine sea salt. Remember, broccoli doesn't have a lot of taste, but there was some salt in that chicken that we cooked. And we're going to add just a little bit of pepper. Now, you could also add a little bit of lemon juice here if you want. Lemon's always great on top of broccoli. But we're going to let that sit and soak up those spices. And in the meantime, I'm going to get ready to make that garlic sauce that you're going to use for all of it. It's clear, it's light, and it's easy. We've cooked the chicken and the broccoli in this pan, so we've got lots of brown yummy bits which taste like the chicken and like that yummy broccoli, and all that was in there was a little bit of olive oil. So to that, we're going to add just a tiny bit, that's about a teaspoon of our bacon drippings. You can leave this out if you like, but it does give it a little bit of extra flavor. And we're going to add a little bit of butter. This is about 2 tablespoons. And we're going to let that melt down. Then we're going to season it lightly, top it off with some lemon juice, and spread this all over our chicken and broccoli. So we have this on medium heat, and we want to stir it around and get all of those brown bits up from the bottom. Just nice and easy, scraping those up and letting that butter and that little bit of olive oil come together. Okay, so the butter is now melted along with our little bit of bacon drippings, and we're going to add just a tad bit of cornstarch. This is about 1/4 of a teaspoon of cornstarch in about a 1/3 cup of water. We're going to stir this in here. That's just going to act as a little bit of a thickener. We don't want a lot of sauce. We just want enough that we can have something to go over that. Give it a little bit of extra yummy. Now you can use a whisk. You can use this. Now you see it's starting to get a little thick, so we're going to add a little bit of water to it, and then we're going to add our seasoning. All right, so we've got our whisk. We've added a little bit of extra water. Now remember, there's really not any seasoning in here yet. We're going to let this thicken up over about a medium to low heat. While this is thickening, we're going to go ahead and add a little bit of salt. Now this will be to taste. You can decide how salty you like things. I'm going to use like 3 pinches here. This is freshly ground sea salt. And I'm going to use a little bit of ground pepper. Now you can use white pepper here too if you want a little bit of a milder flavor and you don't want the black specks. And a little bit of garlic powder. This is about 1/4 teaspoon. You could also use chopped garlic and saute that in there. And we're going to stir this around. Let it thicken up just a little bit, and then we're going to add to it a little touch of lemon juice. That's about 1/4 teaspoon. We want to just brighten up those flavors a little bit. Now right now it's rather thin, just like a regular glaze, but we want to get it to the point where we move this through here and we start to see the pan underneath it. We want to get it thick just a little bit, but we don't want to let it over thicken. Get all those little bits up. Okay, we're going to take a little taste of that for sauce, and then I'm going to show you how to plate this up. Let our chicken rest for a little bit. You see we have a little bit of juices coming out, and we're just going to test it. You can see that it's about the same doneness as if you pressed right here, like a well-done steak. We don't want chicken to be medium rare, do we? We're going to take this out, and we're going to cut it. So this is way too much for one person. We actually have enough here for a family of 3 or 4 easily. We're going to cut this slightly on the bias. And as you see, that chicken is moist, it's beautifully done, and it's seasoned to perfection. So once we get this all cut, we're going to plate it up along with our broccoli and add our sauce, which is guaranteed to make any family happy. It's that little extra that you do, that little extra seasoning that you do, that little extra sauce that you do that's going to make this feel like a special dinner, and it could be on any Tuesday night. So we're going to take this, and I kind of ran out of room here. And we're going to place it on this plate. I wish you could smell that. It smells so delicious. And then I'm going to just wipe down my cutting board here. I'm not going to cut anything else down. And of course, all of our cutting boards are washed after every single episode in use, as well as our hands. So we have this lovely chicken, and now we have this lovely broccoli. Both of these have been lightly seasoned before we cooked them, but now's the time for us to put this together in a way that people will enjoy eating it and it'll stay wonderfully yummy. So we're going to take our little plate. Remember when dinner plates were all this size? I don't know when they got this size. This was a serving platter back in the day. And I'm going to take a little bit of our sauce that's just been kept warm over here. And I'm just going to get a little bit of this. And I'm going to put on the bottom of the plate. Rather than covering the food itself, I'm going to put it on the bottom of the plate and be able to just pick out some beautiful pieces of meat here. Let's have these. And then we're going to take some broccoli, and we're going to place them here right into the sauce, right into the sauce. My cooker says, you need to be using me. And we're going to top with just the tiniest bit of salt because we didn't use a lot when we cooked, just a little bit. Go ahead and season that while it's there. And of course, we're going to add a little bit of pepper because it's what we do. Again, this is all to your taste. Now, if you'd like to have a little bit of something, we can take just a tiny bit of our garlic gravy and just drizzle on top. But we want to be able to see that. And there you have it. 6 minutes to cook that chicken breast, about 4 to 5 minutes to cook the broccoli. It has delicious flavor, it's moist and meaty, and I guarantee you it's ready to go. Enjoy.